Hey everybody, it's Stephanie. I wanted to jump on here today and let everybody know who may be following me or has followed me for a long time that we will be transitioning this channel into the Bartle Homestead channel. And what that is I have a business called the Bartle Homestead where I make our own soaps and other things like that, but we also do a lot of things with our farm and our homestead. So I wanted a channel and a space where I could share the things I learn, the things that we do here, and how we go about doing them, because I have a lot of people who are interested and follow me on my Facebook page that watch live videos I do and that sort of thing. So I figured this would be a better platform for that, because I'm also trying to work my way out of Facebook, as most other people are doing as well. So that being said, it is now the end of February. For us living on the southern Gulf Coast, it's getting close to gardening time. Usually, if you go by the almanac, it says in our area that the last frost is about March 15th, and it says that every year. At this moment, I'm sure most of you know, we are all going through this like harsh winter, whatever this is, vortex, I don't know, where it's just nothing but constant cold weather, ice, snow. Obviously, we haven't gotten any ice or snow down here, but most of the United States has. But when that normally happens to us here, or me in particular, in the spring, I feel like I get this like bug to want to start planting my garden and planting and that sort of thing. We'll get like 1 or 2 days of really nice warm weather, and I'll be like, now it's time to plant, let's go till. And then I'll look at the weather on my phone, and it'll say like the next weekend it's going to be down to 26 degrees. So I'm like, dang it. But we should be starting to work on our garden, hopefully this weekend, maybe next weekend, and tilling it up, preparing the ground. I'll be pouring out the chicken manure onto the ground, clearing out my chicken coop when it warms up a little bit this next weekend, and just preparing everything for the beginning of our spring garden. I have already planted a lot of our seeds into a little seed flat. I have a few things like tomatoes, peppers, I've got cucumbers, a couple different varieties of squashes, and then I have my herbal flowers like hyssop, calendula, chamomile, that sort of thing. Just starting the seeds and seeing if I can get a root system ready for those and plant them next month. Now, I just planted them maybe a week ago, and the calendula is already this tall. I wanted to give some references of things that I have been using. If you don't follow, Living Traditions Homestead is a good place to follow if you're looking for advice on gardening or just normal homesteading type things. And I've been following them for a while. And one of the videos I recently watched, she said that they had a seed starting cheat sheet that she put on Etsy, and it's only $2. So I went there and got the cheat sheets just for fun. I mean, I have a lot of references and books and things and my own stuff that I've come up with, but I just thought $2, I'll just go ahead and see what it's about. So I did buy it. I'm not going to show you all of it because that would not help them out any, but on there, she's got 3 different cheat sheets. There are the Homestead Seed Starting Cheat Sheet for vegetables, then there's one for herbs and one for flowers. And so mine are kind of dirty, but I can try and show you a little bit of it. And they just have different things, like all kinds of different vegetables, start seed number of weeks before planting, how deep you want to plant the seeds, if it requires a heat mat, and if it needs light or to be soaked before you plant it before germination. And I thought it was really interesting and really cool to see, because I normally don't do a seed plot when I think about my garden. I always either plant my seeds directly into the ground, or I'll buy the already pre-grown plants. But this year I wanted to try doing it myself. So I got that, and that was a good starting point for me. And what we've been doing for the last couple of years is every year I keep a gardening journal. And so in that journal, I'll write out where we put the plants, how many we put, when we planted them, when they came up, if we had any issues with them, and what we should do different the next year. Because every year we go to garden, I never remember what I planted, how I planted it, how it turned out, what I did wrong, that sort of thing. So it's always good to go back and look at it, and I just keep perfecting my gardening art that way. Then I wanted to go and talk about the seeds that we have. I get my seeds from our local co-op, and they always come in these little brown bags. These are the National Pickling Cucumbers, and it's only $2, and you get this huge bag full of seeds. This has lasted me a couple of years. I don't know if you guys have a local co-op, how much theirs are, how much they put in the bags, but it's always a good place to start because it's always plants that grow specifically to your area, and they're usually cheaper because they buy them in bulk, and so you get them a little bit cheaper than you would in the store. For instance, here's another bag of pickling cucumbers. I've got another thing of carrot seed, which will probably last forever, and both of those were $2 versus this one little bag of seeds for $2, the same price. So if I am going to buy seed, I usually check at the co-op first if I'm looking for something specific, and then if they don't have it, I will usually buy it in the store, big box stores. I don't necessarily pick a specific brand name. I tend, obviously according to this bag in here, I tend to choose more of the Fairy Morse brand. It's probably backwards for you guys, but the Brandywine is one of the tomatoes that I actually planted this year. And then another way of getting seeds is if you have other gardening friends and they happen to keep some of the seeds that of things that they grew the previous year, you can swap. So I've got some of these Kaboka squash seeds. That was something that was kind of new to our area this past year, and a friend of mine kept her seeds, and so she gave me some, and I have also planted those because they are very tasty. But I usually will section out my seeds and put them in little Ziploc bags like this according to season. So this is my spring bag. For us down here, spring and fall is pretty much the same plants. And late fall is when you start getting into your leaf greens. You don't want to plant, or in early spring, you can plant the same that you would in like a winter type garden. But that's usually how I do mine, and then I know when I need my spring seeds, I just go to the freezer and take it out. That's another thing. I put mine in the freezer because they tend to keep longer if they're frozen. Another thing that we're going to get into doing this year is we're going to have piglets that we're going to feed out and butcher. Hopefully within the next couple months we'll be getting the piglets, and so we're planning on making a garden specifically for pig feed, and that will consist of things like root vegetables, pumpkins, that sort of thing. So we'll get more into detail of that when I start planning it out better. But I also wanted to show, I have this book. It's called Month by Month Gardening in Alabama, and it is a great reference book. They have them for each state, and in it they have the different things that you can grow by month and how you prepare for those. So I just wanted to get on and catch everybody up to date, give you guys a little bit of a tidbit of how we prepare for the spring, and I hope to be talking to you guys soon.